Hello, my name is Father Mario, a Carmelite friar, and this is the third in a series of videos about the life and the charism of Venerable Mary Angeline Teresa McCrory, the founders of the Carmelite Sisters for the Aged and Infirm. Once again, we are in her Heritage Center in Germantown, New York, at the Mother House, Avila on the Hudson. Mother Angeline left at the end of her life a rich heritage, a legacy, and that legacy had many parts and certainly did not begin with her death. From 1929 on, with the opening of the first nursing home caring for the elderly at the old rectory of St. Elizabeth's Church on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, to 1931, when the first proper nursing home was opened at St. Patrick's Nursing Home in the Bronx, to this day, the Carmelite Sisters for the Aged and Infirm and their co-workers, sharing the ministry of caring for the aged, continue to go on in many states and many places in the United States and in Ireland. The legacy or inheritance of Mother Angeline has several parts. First and foremost are the spiritual daughters that she left. She began with some companions from the Little Sisters of the Poor to found a vigorous, active, contemplative community of women religious in the Carmelite tradition, dedicating themselves to a life of prayer according to Carmelite spirituality, as well as zealous service for the care of God's elderly in their nursing homes. The Carmelite Sisters' life has always been marked by a joyful community spirit, and those sisters have brought that prayerful, joyful community spirit into all of their works. Another part of Mother Angeline's legacy is how the ministry for the aged and infirmed is conducted. When you walk into a Carmelite nursing home, you feel an atmosphere of optimism and peace and joy. There are many levels of care in the nursing home: independent living, assisted living, and skilled nursing care. But throughout, you find an atmosphere of holistic, friendly, and joyful care. Mother Angeline wanted her sisters and their co-workers to treat each individual, called a resident, respecting their dignity and their freedom, as if they were caring for their own parents, as if they were caring for Christ. And even with all the changes in healthcare over the course of these 80-plus years, the legacy of Mother Angeline, her charism, continues to be in the forefront of the care of the elderly, the area of gerontology throughout the United States, where the sisters participate in many professional organizations. They work through the Avila Institute of Gerontology for the training of their fellow workers in the care of the elderly and advocating for the protection of life in all its stages. Another aspect of Mother Angeline's legacy, her charism, was a deep love and reverence for the Church and the Church's ministers, bishops, and priests. Mother Angeline had a mother-like as well as a sisterly affection for priests, which she developed from her youth in Ireland and Scotland. Priests were always welcomed to give conferences, to stay and assist the sisters through different kinds of educational programs. Priests were prayed for daily and especially every Saturday. And the worship of God, the liturgy, the cult of the Blessed Sacrament, was always tied to the beautiful ministry of the priesthood in our Catholic tradition. And to this day, the sisters have held on to that beautiful aspect of Mother Angeline's legacy. The nursing homes are guided by a philosophy of sanctity of life. The sisters work to preserve life no matter how fragile. They advocate for those with dementia and Alzheimer's, and those who are in need of palliative care find a sure and ready home in the Carmelite Sisters facilities, where every possible measure of pastoral care, nursing care, and any kind of help is given to make the last days of the elderly as comfortable as possible. The sisters organize their ministry under certain core values, values that they want to see reflected in every aspect of the home's life. In the dietary department, in housekeeping, in medical and nursing care, in activities and recreation and spiritual care, pastoral care. The sisters strive to train and to bring into this network of core values all of their lay employees, treating their lay employees with respect and dignity as well, members of the family of Carmel. So, the core value of hospitality, which was so much a part of Mother Angeline's mentality and action, welcoming people as guests, guests in their home, guests in their nursing homes, coming before the Lord, who was the supreme guest who lived in the tabernacle, and welcoming each individual with care and dignity, offering that extra little step, that refreshing drink, that kind word. This was and is a hallmark of Carmelite ministry, the value of hospitality. And not just as an individual, but the sisters emphasize in their work a shared commitment. The nursing home is like an organism where everyone has to play their part. And so care is best provided when the commitment to the elderly is shared among all of those charged with their work. And so the sisters strive to have committees and programs and work with volunteers and professional staff in their shared commitment of compassionate ministry, the third of the core values. Compassion, a feeling with the next person, an affection for the next person, so that the care provided to each of the elderly is not just scientific and medical, but also pastoral and holistic and deeply human. One of the hallmarks of Carmelite spirituality is the affective nature, bringing the heart into the care of each person, bringing our heart into our prayer, bringing the heart and love into all of our relationships. So in that shared commitment, it is marked always by a spirit of compassion and a respect for dignity of life in all its stages and in all its fragility. In these few moments, this is just a summary of some of the legacy of the Venerable Mary Angeline Teresa McCrory, the founders of the Carmelite Sisters. We turn to her and ask her to help us today in this work of caring for the elderly, in a world where human life sometimes is not valued the way it should be. But the Carmelite Sisters and their co-workers continue in Mother Angeline's spirit to provide a deeply hospitable, compassionate, shared ministry which preserves life and serves in the spirit of Christ. Thank you.